Once upon a time, in a cozy little village nestled between rolling green hills and a sparkling blue river, there lived a curious and brave little girl named Millie. Millie had bright, twinkling eyes and a heart full of dreams. She loved to explore the world around her, always seeking new adventures with her loyal puppy, Max. One clear, starry night, as Millie was getting ready for bed, she noticed something extraordinary. A star outside her window was twinkling more brightly than usual, almost as if it was trying to get her attention. Millie felt a flutter of excitement in her chest. She put on her favorite blue pajamas, grabbed Max, and tiptoed outside. The night was calm and filled with the soft sounds of crickets and the rustling of leaves. Millie followed the bright star, which seemed to lead her to the edge of the village, near the old enchanted forest. She had heard many stories about this forest, but she had never been inside. "Are you ready for an adventure, Max?" Millie whispered to her puppy, who wagged his tail in agreement. With a deep breath, Millie stepped into the forest. The trees glowed faintly, as if sprinkled with magic. The star continued to guide them, lighting a path through the woods. As they walked deeper, Millie and Max came across a group of fireflies dancing in the air, creating a shimmering tunnel of light. Following the fireflies, Millie found herself in a magical clearing where the moonlight shone brightly. In the center of the clearing was a beautiful silver tree. Its leaves sparkled like diamonds, and at the top of the tree was the brightest star Millie had ever seen. "Welcome, Millie," said a gentle, melodic voice. Millie looked around and saw a small, glowing fairy perched on a branch. "I am Celeste, the guardian of the night. I've been watching you, and I need your help." Millie's eyes widened with wonder. "What can I do to help?" she asked. Celeste smiled warmly. "Our brightest star, Stella, has lost her way. Without her, the night sky cannot shine as brilliantly. We need you and Max to help guide her back." Millie nodded eagerly. "We'll do our best." Celeste sprinkled a handful of shimmering fairy dust over Millie and Max. Suddenly, they felt lighter than air. Millie and Max floated up into the night sky, with Celeste leading the way. They soared past twinkling stars and fluffy clouds until they reached a part of the sky that seemed a bit dimmer. "There she is." Celeste pointed to a small, flickering star that looked lost and frightened. Millie reached out and gently took Stella's hand. "Don't worry, Stella. We'll take you home." With Celeste guiding them, Millie, Max, and Stella flew back through the sky. As they traveled, Millie told Stella stories of her village, the forest, and the magical clearing. Stella's light grew brighter with each tale, feeling the warmth of friendship and adventure. Finally, they arrived back at the enchanted forest. Stella floated up to the top of the silver tree, taking her place among the stars. The night sky lit up with a brilliant glow, more beautiful than Luna had ever seen. "Thank you, Millie and Max," Celeste said with a twinkle in her eye. "You've made the night sky whole again." As Millie and Max floated back down to the ground, Luna felt a sense of pride and happiness. They returned home, climbing into bed with sleepy eyes and joyful hearts. That night, Millie dreamed of stars and magical forests, knowing that she and Max had made a difference. And from then on, whenever she looked up at the night sky, she felt a special connection to the stars, knowing that adventures awaited her whenever she dreamed. And so, Millie and Max drifted off to sleep, their hearts filled with wonder and the promise of many more magical nights to come. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and sparkling streams, there lived a little girl named Emma. Emma loved the night sky and would often sit by her window, gazing at the twinkling stars and the glowing moon. One night, as Emma was getting ready for bed, she noticed a particularly bright moonbeam shining through her window. To her amazement, the moonbeam seemed to be alive. It wiggled and danced, casting a magical light all around her room. "Hello, Emma," the moonbeam said softly. "I am a magic moonbeam, and I've come to take you on a special adventure." Emma's eyes widened with excitement. "Where are we going?" she asked. "To the land of dreams," the moonbeam replied. "Close your eyes, hold my hand, and let the magic begin." Emma did as she was told, and in an instant she felt herself floating. When she opened her eyes, she found herself in a beautiful land filled with shimmering flowers, talking animals, and candy-colored clouds. A friendly bunny named Binky hopped up to Emma. "Welcome to the land of dreams. Would you like to join our star dance?" Emma nodded eagerly. Binky led her to a meadow where animals of all kinds were gathered, dancing under a sky filled with swirling stars. Emma joined in, twirling and laughing with joy. After the dance, Binky showed Emma a sparkling river. "This is the river of wishes," he said. "If you toss a pebble into the river and make a wish, it will come true." Emma picked up a smooth pebble and thought for a moment. Then, with a smile, she tossed the pebble into the river and whispered her wish. As the pebble splashed into the water, the moonbeam appeared beside Emma. "It's time to go back now," it said gently. Emma hugged Binky and waved goodbye to all her new friends. Holding the moonbeam's hand, she closed her eyes once more. When she opened them again, she was back in her cozy bed, the moonbeam casting a soft glow around her room. "Thank you for the adventure," Emma whispered to the moonbeam. "Sweet dreams, Emma," the moonbeam replied before fading away. Emma snuggled under her blanket with a smile on her face. She knew that every night, the land of dreams would be waiting for her, just beyond the magic moonbeam. And with that happy thought, she drifted off to sleep, ready for her next adventure. Once upon a time, in a magical forest, there lived a little squirrel named Sammy. Sammy loved exploring the woods, climbing trees, and finding tasty acorns. He had many friends in the forest, including Bella the bunny, Oliver the owl, and Tiny the turtle. One sunny afternoon, Sammy discovered a shiny, golden acorn at the base of the tallest tree in the forest. He had never seen anything like it before. Excited, he picked it up and decided to show it to his friends. First, he went to Bella the bunny, who was hopping around her favorite meadow. "Look what I found, Bella," Sammy squeaked. Bella's eyes widened in amazement. "Wow, Sammy! That's the most beautiful acorn I've ever seen. Let's show Oliver." They both hurried to Oliver the owl's tree. Oliver, who was wise and knowledgeable, looked closely at the golden acorn. "This is no ordinary acorn," he hooted softly. "It's a magical one. Legend says it can grant a wish to whoever finds it." Tiny the turtle, who had slowly made his way to join the group, nodded wisely. "We must make a wish that benefits everyone in the forest." The friends huddled together and thought hard about what their wish should be. After a moment, Sammy said, "I wish for our forest to always be filled with happiness, friendship, and plenty of acorns for everyone." The golden acorn glowed brightly, and a soft, sparkling light spread through the forest. From that day on, the forest was more beautiful and bountiful than ever before. The animals were happier, friendships grew stronger, and there were always plenty of acorns for everyone to share. Sammy and his friends felt proud of their wish and grateful for the magic of the golden acorn. Every night, they would gather under the tallest tree, share stories, and remind each other of the power of friendship and kindness. And so, the magical forest remained a place of joy and wonder, where everyone lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a bustling anthill at the edge of a big green forest, lived a curious little ant named Alex. Alex was not like the other ants who were content to follow the same paths every day. Alex wanted to explore and see what was beyond the anthill. One sunny morning, Alex decided to go on an adventure. He told his best friend, Annie, about his plan. "Annie, today I'm going to see what lies beyond the big oak tree." Annie was worried. "But Alex, it's dangerous out there. What if you get lost or run into a bird?" Alex smiled confidently. "Don't worry, Annie. I'll be careful. And I'll be back before sunset." With that, Alex set off on his journey. He scurried past the busy workers carrying food back to the anthill and headed towards the big oak tree. As he walked, he marveled at the towering grass blades and the colorful flowers swaying in the breeze. When Alex reached the oak tree, he saw something amazing. There was a shimmering stream flowing nearby. Alex had never seen so much water in one place before. He decided to follow the stream to see where it led. As he walked along the stream, Alex encountered many new and exciting things. He saw frogs leaping from lily pad to lily pad, fish swimming gracefully in the water, and even a family of ducks waddling by. Alex was fascinated by everything he saw. Suddenly, Alex heard a rustling sound behind him. He turned around and saw a big, curious beetle. The beetle looked at Alex and said, "Hello, little ant. What brings you so far from your home?" Alex introduced himself and explained his adventure. The beetle smiled and said, "I'm Benny. It's nice to meet you, Alex. You must be very brave to come all this way." Alex and Benny became fast friends and decided to explore together. They discovered a beautiful meadow filled with wildflowers and butterflies. They played and laughed, enjoying their newfound friendship. As the sun began to set, Alex realized it was time to head back home. He thanked Benny for the wonderful adventure and promised to visit again. Benny waved goodbye as Alex hurried back to the anthill. When Alex returned, Annie was waiting for him at the entrance. "Alex, you're back. I was so worried," she exclaimed. Alex hugged his friend and said, "I had the most amazing adventure, Annie. I saw a stream, met a beetle named Benny, and explored a meadow. You should come with me next time." Annie smiled and nodded. "Maybe I will, Alex. Maybe I will." And so, Alex the ant proved that with a little courage and curiosity, you can discover amazing things and make wonderful new friends. From that day on, Alex and Annie went on many adventures together, exploring the world beyond the anthill. Once upon a time in a faraway galaxy, there was a little star named Twinkle. Twinkle was the smallest star in the sky, but she had the biggest dreams. She wanted to have an adventure and see the magical moon up close. One night, as Twinkle shined brightly in the sky, she heard a soft voice. "Hello, little star. Why do you look so dreamy tonight?" It was the moon smiling down at her. "Oh, moon!" Twinkle exclaimed. "I've always wanted to visit you and see your magical craters and sparkling light up close." The moon chuckled gently. "Then why don't you come up and visit me? All you need is a bit of stardust magic and a lot of courage." Twinkle's heart raced with excitement. She had plenty of courage, but she needed to find the stardust magic. She decided to ask her friend, Comet, who zoomed by her every night. "Comet, do you have any stardust magic?" Twinkle asked as Comet whizzed past. Comet slowed down and replied, "Of course, Twinkle. I have some right here in my tail. But why do you need it?" "I want to visit the moon," Twinkle said, her light glowing brighter with excitement. Comet sprinkled some stardust magic over Twinkle and said, "Hold on tight and I'll take you there." With a whoosh, Twinkle and Comet zoomed through the sky, passing by planets and dancing meteors. Twinkle felt the rush of the wind and the thrill of the adventure. Finally they reached the moon. The moon greeted them warmly. "Welcome, Twinkle. I'm so glad you made it." Twinkle looked around in awe. The moon's surface was even more magical up close, with twinkling craters and shimmering dust. She and Comet explored every corner, and the moon told them stories about the stars and the galaxies far, far away. As the night ended, Twinkle knew it was time to go back. "Thank you, moon. This has been the best adventure ever," she said. The moon smiled. "You're always welcome here, little star. Shine bright, and remember, dreams do come true." Comet took Twinkle back to her place in the sky. Twinkle twinkled even brighter than before, filled with joy and wonderful memories of her adventure. And from that night on, whenever children looked up at the sky, they could see Twinkle shining brightly, reminding them that no dream is too big if you have the courage to follow it. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, there lived a young girl named Sophie. Sophie was known throughout the village for her love of painting. Her home was a small cottage filled with canvases, brushes, and jars of vibrant paints. Despite her family's modest means, Sophie's art brought joy to everyone who saw it. Every day after finishing her chores, Sophie would sit by the old oak tree in the village square, capturing the beauty of the world around her. She painted flowers in bloom, playful animals, and scenes of faraway lands she dreamed of visiting. Though her brushes were old and worn, her talent was undeniable. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the village, Sophie took a different path home. She was deep in thought, imagining new things to paint, when she stumbled upon something shiny on the ground. It was a paintbrush, unlike any she had ever seen. The handle was made of polished wood and inlaid with delicate gold designs, and the bristles were soft and pristine. Who could have lost such a beautiful brush? Sophie wondered, but there was no one around to ask. She decided to take it home, thinking it might belong to someone in the village. That night after dinner, Sophie couldn't resist the urge to try out the new paintbrush. She set up her easel and canvas in her little studio by the window. The moonlight streamed in, illuminating the room. She dipped the brush into her favorite blue paint and started to paint a sky full of twinkling stars. As soon as the brush touched the canvas, something incredible happened. The stars she painted began to sparkle and glow, as if they were real. Sophie gasped in astonishment, dropping the brush. She rubbed her eyes, thinking she was dreaming, but the stars were still there, twinkling softly on the canvas. Tentatively, she picked up the brush again and painted a small flower. To her amazement, the flower bloomed right off the canvas, filling the room with its sweet fragrance. Sophie realized that this was no ordinary paintbrush. It was a magic paintbrush. With a heart full of excitement, Sophie painted a bird. The moment she finished, the bird came to life, fluttering its wings and chirping a cheerful song. It flew around the room, perching on her shoulder and pecking playfully at her hair. Sophie could hardly contain her joy. She spent the entire night painting wonderful things. She painted trees that bore fruit instantly, rivers that flowed with sparkling water, and even a friendly dragon who could talk. The dragon, named Celeste, was a deep emerald green with shimmering scales and eyes that twinkled with mischief and wisdom. Celeste and Sophie quickly became friends, and she promised to help her use the magic paintbrush wisely. The next morning, Sophie could hardly wait to share her magical creations with the villagers. She hurried to the village square, with Celeste by her side and the magic paintbrush clutched in her hand. She painted a large tree laden with ripe apples, and as the villagers watched in awe, the tree sprang to life, providing an abundance of fruit for everyone. Word of Sophie's magical paintbrush spread quickly, and soon people from neighboring villages came to see the wonders she could create. She painted homes that were warm and cozy, animals that helped with chores, and fields of crops that grew overnight, ensuring no one went hungry. Sophie's magic paintbrush became a symbol of hope and happiness. She used it to bring joy and prosperity to her village and beyond. With Celeste's guidance, she learned to balance the use of the brush, ensuring that it was never used for selfish or harmful purposes. One day, a stranger came to the village. He was a wealthy merchant named Marcus, known for his greed and desire for power. When he heard about Sophie's magic paintbrush, he saw an opportunity to exploit it for his gain. Disguising his intentions, Marcus approached Sophie with flattering words and promises of riches. "Sophie, your talent and magic paintbrush are extraordinary," Marcus said smoothly. "Imagine what we could achieve together. With your brush, we could create vast palaces, treasures beyond imagination, and command the respect of kingdoms." Sophie, wise beyond her years, saw through Marcus's face. "The magic paintbrush is meant to bring happiness and help those in need, not to satisfy greed and ambition," she replied firmly. Angered by her refusal, Marcus devised a plan to steal the paintbrush. One night, he crept into Sophie's cottage while she slept and took the brush. However, as soon as he tried to use it, the paintbrush refused to work. Frustrated, Marcus attempted to paint grand riches and powerful armies, but the canvas remained blank. Meanwhile, Celeste, who sensed something was wrong, woke Sophie. "Someone has taken the paintbrush," she said urgently. Sophie and Celeste followed the trail to Marcus's camp on the outskirts of the village. They found him furiously trying to make the paintbrush work. "It won't respond to greed," Sophie said calmly, stepping forward. The magic paintbrush only works for those with pure hearts and good intentions. Realizing he had been defeated, Marcus returned the brush to Sophie. Ashamed of his actions, he apologized and left the village, never to return. With a magic paintbrush back in her hands, Sophie continued to create wonders. She painted gardens filled with the most beautiful flowers, enchanted forests where animals and people lived in harmony, and skies that always shone with the colors of the rainbow. Years passed, and Sophie grew up, but she never lost her love for painting or her desire to help others. She taught the village children how to paint and share their creativity. As for the magic paintbrush, it became a cherished heirloom, passed down through generations, always reminding the villagers of the power of kindness and imagination. And so, with her magic paintbrush, Sophie painted a world where dreams came true, and everyone lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a beautiful meadow surrounded by a dense forest, lived a gentle lamb named Lenny. Lenny had soft, white wool and bright, curious eyes. He loved to explore the meadow, nibbling on the sweet grass and smelling the colorful flowers. One sunny afternoon, Lenny wandered a little too close to the edge of the forest. He had heard stories about the forest being dangerous, but his curiosity got the better of him. As he was munching on some particularly delicious clover, he heard a rustling noise. Out from the trees emerged Walter the wolf. Walter had sharp eyes, pointed ears, and a bushy tail. He looked at Lenny with a hungry glint in his eyes. "Hello there, little lamb," Walter said with a sly smile. "What brings you so close to the forest?" Lenny's heart raced, but he remembered his mother always told him to be polite and calm. "Hello, Mr. Wolf," he replied. "I was just exploring the meadow. It's such a lovely day." Walter chuckled. "Indeed it is. But you must know, little lamb, that the forest can be quite dangerous for someone like you." Lenny nodded. "I've heard stories, but I've always wondered if they were true." Walter's eyes twinkled with mischief. "Well, some of them are. But not everything in the forest is bad. For instance, I know a secret spot where the clover is the sweetest. Would you like to see it?" Lenny was hesitant, but he was also very curious. Sure, I guess. But can we promise to be friends?" Walter was taken aback. "Friends? No one has ever asked to be my friend before." Lenny smiled. "Well, I think everyone needs a friend. Even wolves." Walter thought for a moment. The idea of having a friend was new to him. "All right, little lamb. Let's go find that clover." As they walked deeper into the forest, Lenny chatted about the meadow and the flowers, and Walter listened, finding himself enjoying the little lamb's company. They finally reached a clearing filled with the sweetest, greenest clover Lenny had ever seen. "This is amazing, Walter," Lenny exclaimed, munching happily. Walter watched Lenny with a strange feeling in his heart. He realized that he liked having Lenny as a friend. "I'm glad you like it, Lenny." From that day on, Walter and Lenny became the best of friends. Walter would visit the meadow to see Lenny, and Lenny would venture to the forest, but not too deep, to visit Walter. They learned from each other and helped one another. Lenny taught Walter about the beauty of the meadow, and Walter showed Lenny the wonders of the forest. And though they were very different, they discovered that friendship could bridge any gap. And so, in the meadow by the forest, A gentle lamb and a cunning wolf proved that kindness and friendship could change hearts and create bonds stronger than any story told. Once upon a time in a small village, there lived a curious boy named Timmy. Timmy loved exploring the nearby forest, where he would imagine all sorts of magical adventures. One sunny afternoon, as he wandered deeper into the woods than ever before, Timmy stumbled upon a giant, glowing tree. The tree's leaves shimmered like emeralds, and its trunk was covered in mysterious symbols. Timmy reached out to touch the tree, and suddenly, a small door appeared at its base. With a mixture of excitement and nervousness, Timmy opened the door and stepped inside. To his amazement, Timmy found himself in a magical world filled with talking animals and colorful flowers that sang sweet melodies. A friendly squirrel named Nutty greeted him. "Welcome, Timmy. This is the land of enchantment. Only those with pure hearts can enter." Timmy and Nutty quickly became friends. They explored the land together, meeting a wise old owl who gave them riddles to solve and a mischievous fox who loved playing tricks. But soon they heard about a problem. The enchanted river, which flowed with sparkling water that gave life to the land, had stopped flowing. Timmy and Nutty decided to find out why. They journeyed to the river's source and discovered a huge boulder blocking the water. Timmy remembered the symbols on the magical tree and realized they were the key to moving the boulder. He traced the symbols in the air, and with a flash of light, the boulder moved aside, letting the river flow freely again. The land of enchantment came back to life, and all the creatures celebrated Timmy's bravery and quick thinking. The wise owl thanked him and told him he could visit any time he wished. As the sun began to set, Timmy knew it was time to return home. He bid farewell to his new friends and stepped back through the door in the tree, finding himself once again in the familiar forest. Timmy smiled, knowing he would always carry the magic of the land of enchantment in his heart. And from that day on, Timmy's adventures were never just in his imagination. They were real, magical, and full of wonder. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there lived a young girl named Chloe. Chloe loved animals, especially horses. Every day after school, she would visit the stables near her home and spend hours brushing the horses' manes and feeding them carrots. But there was one horse Chloe dreamed of having, a magical pony that could take her on adventures beyond her wildest dreams. One sunny afternoon, as Chloe was walking home from the stables, she noticed a shimmering light in the distance. Curious, she followed the light through the woods and up a hill she had never explored before. At the top of the hill, she found a beautiful meadow filled with flowers of every color. In the middle of the meadow stood a magnificent pony. The pony's coat was pure white, and its mane and tail sparkled like 1,000 tiny stars. Chloe couldn't believe her eyes. She approached the pony slowly, and to her surprise it spoke. "Hello, Chloe. My name is Stardust," the pony said in a gentle voice. "I have been waiting for you." Chloe was amazed. "You can talk," she exclaimed. "Are you a magical pony?" Stardust nodded. "Yes, I am. And I can take you on incredible adventures. Hop on my back, and we will explore lands you've only dreamed of." With a heart full of excitement, Chloe climbed onto Stardust's back. As soon as she was settled, Stardust spread his wings, yes, wings, and took off into the sky. They soared above the village, the river, and the hills, flying higher and higher until they reached a land filled with towering castles, lush forests, and sparkling lakes. Their first stop was a castle made entirely of crystal. The walls shimmered in the sunlight, and the towers reached up to touch the clouds. Inside the castle, Chloe met a kind queen who invited her to a grand feast. They ate delicious food and listened to stories of brave knights and magical creatures. After the feast, Stardust and Chloe flew to the enchanted forest. The trees were so tall that their tops disappeared into the sky, and their leaves glowed with a soft, golden light. As they wandered through the forest, they met talking animals, friendly fairies, and even a wise old owl who gave Chloe a magical feather that could grant one wish. Chloe tucked the feather safely into her pocket, wondering what she might wish for. But for now, she was just happy to be exploring with Stardust. Their final stop was a sparkling lake where mermaids played and sang beautiful songs. Chloe and Stardust rested by the water's edge, listening to the mermaids' melodies and watching the sun set in a blaze of colors. As night fell, Stardust took Chloe back to the meadow. Chloe slid off Stardust's back, her heart brimming with joy and wonder. "Thank you, Stardust," Chloe said, hugging the magical pony. "Today was the most amazing day of my life." Stardust smiled. "Remember, Chloe, you have the magical feather. Whenever you want to go on another adventure, just make a wish." Chloe nodded, feeling the feather in her pocket. "I will, Stardust. I promise." With that, Stardust spread his wings once more and flew off into the night, his mane and tail sparkling like a trail of stars. Chloe watched until she could no longer see Stardust, then turned and walked home, dreaming of the many adventures yet to come. And from that day on, whenever she looked up at the night sky, she remembered her magical friend and the wonderful journey they had shared. And so, Chloe lived happily ever after, knowing that with Stardust and the magical feather, her dreams would always come true. In the heart of a lush, green forest, where the sunlight danced through the leaves and the air was filled with the sweet scent of flowers, there lived a little girl named Aurora. Aurora loved exploring the woods, but her favorite spot was a hidden glade, where a clear, sparkling stream ran over smooth stones and birds sang in the trees. It was a magical place where she felt happiest. One bright morning, as Aurora made her way to the glade, she noticed something unusual. A trail of shimmering, golden dust led away from her usual path. Curiosity sparked in her eyes, and she decided to follow the glittering trail. It twisted and turned through the forest until it led her to a small clearing she had never seen before. In the center of the clearing stood a beautiful unicorn. Its coat was as white as fresh snow, and its mane and tail flowed like silver waterfalls. The unicorn's horn glowed with a soft, radiant light. Aurora gasped in awe. She had heard stories about unicorns but never dreamed she would see one in real life. "Hello," Aurora whispered, not wanting to scare the magnificent creature away. The unicorn turned its gentle eyes towards Aurora and nodded as if understanding her words. "Hello, Aurora," a soft voice echoed in her mind. "I am Blossom, the guardian of this forest." Aurora's eyes widened in surprise. "You can talk." Blossom nodded again. "Yes, but only to those who truly believe in magic. I need your help, Aurora. A dark cloud has settled over the enchanted meadow where I live, and it is causing all the flowers to wither and the animals to hide." Aurora's heart filled with determination. "What can I do to help?" Blossom lowered her head and touched Aurora's hand with her glowing horn. "Follow me, and I will show you the way." Together, Aurora and Blossom journeyed through the forest. As they walked, Blossom explained that the dark cloud was created by a mischievous sprite named Thorn, who loved to play tricks and cause trouble. Thorn had stolen the magical crystal that kept the meadow vibrant and full of life. When they arrived at the enchanted meadow, Aurora saw that it was indeed covered in a dark, swirling cloud. The once bright and colorful flowers were now wilted, and the animals looked sad and frightened. "There's Thorn." Blossom pointed with her horn. Aurora saw a tiny sprite with a mischievous grin, flying around the meadow, holding a sparkling crystal. Thorn noticed Aurora and Blossom and laughed. "You think you can stop me? This crystal is mine now." Aurora stepped forward bravely. "Thorn, please give the crystal back. The meadow needs it to be beautiful again." Thorn's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Why should I? It's so much fun watching everyone in a tizzy." Aurora thought for a moment, then had an idea. "Thorn, how about a trade? If I can make you laugh, you give the crystal back. If I can't, you can keep it." Thorn's curiosity was piqued. "Deal." Aurora began to tell Thorn funny stories about her adventures in the forest. How she once got chased by a squirrel because she took its acorn by mistake, and how she tripped into a mud puddle trying to catch a frog. Thorn started to giggle, and soon his giggles turned into full-blown laughter. All right, Thorn laughed. "You win, Aurora." He handed over the crystal, still chuckling. Aurora smiled and placed the crystal back in its rightful spot in the meadow. Immediately, the dark cloud disappeared, and the meadow burst back into life. Flowers bloomed in brilliant colors, and the animals came out of hiding, cheering and dancing with joy. Blossom bowed her head to Aurora. "Thank you, Aurora. You have a kind heart and a brave spirit. The forest is in your debt." Aurora blushed. "I'm just glad I could help." From that day on, Aurora and Blossom remained the best of friends. Aurora continued to visit the enchanted glade, knowing that she could always count on her magical friend whenever the forest needed a little extra sparkle. And so, the forest lived happily ever after, with Aurora and Blossom's friendship bringing magic and joy to all who lived there. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills, there was a little girl named Lucy who loved stars. Every night, Lucy would sit by her window and gaze up at the sparkling sky, dreaming about the stars and the secrets they held. One special night, as Lucy was stargazing, she saw a bright, twinkling star that seemed to dance just for her. Intrigued, she whispered, "I wish I could meet a star and hear its stories." To her amazement, the star grew brighter and began to descend from the sky. It landed gently in her garden, transforming into a small, glowing creature with twinkling eyes and a warm smile. "Hello, Lucy," the star said. "I'm Sparkle, the star you wished to meet." Lucy was overjoyed. "Sparkle, do you have stories to tell?" "Of course," Sparkle replied. "Would you like to hear about the starry forest?" Lucy nodded eagerly, and Sparkle began the tale. Far beyond the highest clouds, there is a magical place called the Starry Forest. The trees there are made of silver, and their leaves shimmer like diamonds. Every night, The stars gather in the forest to share stories and sing songs. They talk about the wishes they hear from people all over the world and how they try to make them come true. One day, a star named Lily heard a wish from a little boy who wanted to find his lost puppy. Lily flew down to earth and guided the boy with her light, helping him find his puppy safe and sound. The boy's joy filled Lily's heart, and she returned to the starry forest, shining even brighter than before. In the starry forest, helping others and making dreams come true are what makes stars shine so brightly in the night sky. Lucy listened, her eyes wide with wonder. "Sparkle, can you tell me another story?" "Of course," Sparkle said. "But it's getting late, and you need your rest. I promise I'll visit you again and tell you more stories." Lucy yawned and nodded. "Thank you, Sparkle. I'll be dreaming about the starry forest." Sparkle smiled and gently floated back up to the sky. "Good night, Lucy. Sweet dreams." As Lucy drifted off to sleep, she felt a warmth in her heart, knowing that the stars were watching over her, ready to share their stories and make wishes come true. And so, every night, Lucy would look up at the stars, knowing that somewhere up there, her friend Sparkle was shining brightly, waiting to tell her more magical tales. Good night, little one. Sweet dreams. In a cozy corner of a bustling farm, there lived a little mouse named Mia. Mia was small but full of courage and curiosity. She loved to explore the nooks and crannies of the barn, gathering crumbs and making friends with the other animals. One bright morning, as Mia was nibbling on a piece of cheese, she heard a faint cry coming from the nearby field. Following the sound, she discovered a tiny duckling stuck in a muddy puddle. The duckling's feet were trapped, and it couldn't get out. "Don't worry, little duckling," Mia said kindly. "I'll help you." With determination, Mia found a long piece of straw and used it as a lever to pry the duckling free. After a few moments of effort, the duckling was out of the mud and flapping its wings in delight. "Thank you, brave mouse," the duckling quacked. "My name is Daisy. I was trying to catch bugs when I got stuck." Mia smiled. "I'm glad I could help, Daisy. Be careful next time." Mia and Daisy became the best of friends. Every day they would explore the farm together, sharing stories and laughter. One day, while playing near the big red barn, they discovered a hidden tunnel that led to a secret garden filled with beautiful flowers and delicious berries. "This must be the secret garden of the farm," exclaimed Mia. Daisy nodded, her eyes wide with wonder. "We should share this with everyone on the farm. It will bring joy to all." With great excitement, Mia and Daisy gathered their friends and led them to the secret garden. The animals marveled at the beauty and abundance, and decided to take care of the garden together. They planted more flowers, picked fresh berries, and made it a magical place for everyone to enjoy. From that day on, the farm became an even more joyful place, thanks to the bravery and kindness of Mia the mouse and Daisy the duckling. And every night, as the stars twinkled above the farm, Mia would curl up in her cozy nest, dreaming of new adventures with her friends. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a brave little bear named Benny. Benny lived in a cozy cave at the edge of a magical forest, where every tree had twinkling leaves and flowers could sing. Benny was a curious bear, always eager to explore the wonders of the forest. One sunny morning, Benny decided to go on an adventure. He packed his favorite honey sandwich, put on his little red backpack, and set off into the forest. As he walked, the birds chirped cheerful songs, and the butterflies danced around him. After a while, Benny came across a sparkling stream. He decided to follow it, hoping it would lead him to something exciting. The stream led him to a beautiful meadow filled with colorful flowers that swayed to the rhythm of the wind. Benny sat down to enjoy his honey sandwich when he heard a soft voice. "Hello there, little bear," the voice said. Benny looked around and saw a tiny glowing fairy sitting on a daisy. "Hello," Benny replied, waving his paw. "Who are you?" "I'm Faye, the fairy of the meadow," she said with a twinkle in her eye. "What brings you here, Benny?" "I'm on an adventure," Benny explained. "I want to discover the wonders of the magical forest." Faye smiled and fluttered her wings. "I can show you something truly magical, Benny. Follow me." Excited, Benny followed Faye as she flew deeper into the forest. They soon reached an ancient oak tree, much larger than any Benny had ever seen. Its branches stretched high into the sky, and its trunk was as wide as Benny's cave. "This is the tree of wisdom," Faye said. "It holds the knowledge of the entire forest." Benny looked up in awe. "Wow! Can it talk?" "Yes, it can," Faye replied. She flew up to the tree and whispered something. The tree began to glow, and its bark shifted to form a kind face. "Welcome, Benny," the tree rumbled in a gentle voice. "I have heard of your bravery and curiosity. How can I help you today?" Benny felt a little shy but mustered the courage to speak. "I want to learn about the secrets of the forest and how I can protect it." The tree of wisdom smiled. "A noble wish indeed. The forest is full of magic and wonder, but it also needs care and protection. There are 3 things you must remember: respect nature, help those in need, and always be kind." Benny nodded, taking the advice to heart. "I will do my best, Tree of Wisdom." As a reward for Benny's bravery and kind heart, the tree gave him a special gift: a small golden acorn. This acorn holds the magic of the forest. It will guide you and help you whenever you need it. Benny thanked the Tree of Wisdom and Faye, feeling a sense of responsibility and pride. He carefully placed the acorn in his backpack and continued his adventure, determined to protect the magical forest. As he wandered, Benny came across various animals who needed his help. He helped a lost rabbit find its way home, rescued a baby bird stuck in a bush, and shared his honey sandwich with a hungry squirrel. With each good deed, the golden acorn glowed brighter, filling Benny with warmth and happiness. One evening, as the sun set and the sky turned orange and pink, Benny returned to his cozy cave. He felt tired but incredibly happy. He knew that he had made a difference in the magical forest. From that day on, Benny became known as the guardian of the forest. With a golden acorn's guidance and his brave heart, he protected the forest and its creatures, ensuring that its magic would remain for generations to come. And so, Benny the brave little bear lived happily ever after, always ready for a new adventure and always caring for his magical home. In a peaceful valley surrounded by rolling hills and blooming flowers, there was a charming farm where a lively flock of sheep lived. Among them was a young sheep named Luna. Luna was known for her adventurous spirit and her love of stargazing. Every night, she would gaze at the sky, marveling at the twinkling stars and the glowing moon. One evening, as Luna lay on a grassy hill, her friend Max the sheepdog approached her. "Luna, why do you always look at the stars?" Max asked, his tail wagging with curiosity. "The stars are magical, Max. They make me wonder about the world beyond our farm," Luna replied, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Max nodded thoughtfully. "I've heard stories about a magical meadow hidden somewhere in the valley. They say it's filled with flowers that glow under the moonlight and streams that sing lullabies." Luna's ears perked up. "A magical meadow. Oh, Max, we must find it." The very next morning, Luna and Max set off on their adventure. They trotted through the fields, climbed hills, and crossed bubbling streams. Along the way, they met various animals who offered them clues and encouragement. First, they met Ollie the wise old owl, who perched high in a tree. "To find the meadow, you must follow the path of the fireflies," Ollie hooted. "Thank you, Ollie," Luna bleated, her heart pounding with excitement. As night fell, Luna and Max noticed tiny glowing fireflies flitting through the air. They followed the enchanting lights, which led them deeper into the valley. The path was long and winding, but Luna's determination never wavered. Next, they encountered Bella the bunny, who was nibbling on a carrot. "You're on the right track," Bella said, twitching her nose. "Keep an eye out for the ancient oak tree. The meadow is close by." Luna and Max thanked Bella and continued on their journey. Soon they spotted the ancient oak tree, its gnarled branches stretching towards the sky. They knew they were getting closer. Finally, they reached a clearing bathed in the soft glow of the moon. Luna gasped in awe. The meadow was even more beautiful than she had imagined. Delicate flowers shimmered like stars on the ground, and a gentle stream flowed, its waters singing a soothing melody. "We found it, Max. The magical meadow," Luna exclaimed, her voice filled with joy. Max wagged his tail happily. "It's more wonderful than I ever imagined." As they explored the meadow, Luna noticed a group of fireflies forming a circle around a large, shimmering flower in the center. Luna approached the flower, feeling a sense of wonder. The flower's petals glowed with a radiant light, and it seemed to hum with magical energy. "Hello, Luna," a gentle voice whispered. Luna looked around, but there was no one in sight. She realized the voice was coming from the flower. "Who are you?" Luna asked, her eyes wide with amazement. "I am the guardian of the magical meadow," the flower replied. "You have shown great courage and curiosity, Luna. As a reward, I grant you a special gift. Whenever you gaze at the stars, you will be able to understand their stories and share them with others." Luna felt a warm, tingling sensation. "Thank you, Guardian. I will cherish this gift always." With their hearts full of wonder, Luna and Max returned to the farm. Luna couldn't wait to share the stories of the stars with her friends and family. From that day on, every night under the sparkling sky, Luna would gather the flock and tell them magical tales of the stars and the adventures beyond their cozy farm. And so, Luna the sheep became known as the storyteller of the stars, spreading joy and wonder to all who listened. The farm animals, inspired by Luna's tales, found their own adventures and dreams, knowing that the world was full of magic if they only believed. In the peaceful valley surrounded by rolling hills and blooming flowers, Luna the storyteller sheep lived happily ever after.